Let's start with the prayer. Om Bhadram Karneभिः शृणुयाम देवाः Bhadram क्षेमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः सुष्ठुवागुंसश्चनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्ताक्षोररिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्ददातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. We are studying Mandukya Upanishad, Shankaracharya Bashyam. The first chapter, the seventh mantra, introduction by Shankaracharya. Among all the Upanishads, the toughest Upanishad is Mandukya Upanishad. But if you can understand this Upanishad, moksha is in your palms. We have two commentators in this Upanishad, Gaudapadacharya, who writes a commentary on this Upanishad. Shankaracharya writes his commentary on Gaudapadacharya's commentary. There is no other Upanishad like this, where we study commentaries at the same time. Mandukya Upanishad consists of only 12 mantras. But mastering these 12 mantras takes a very long time. The reason is there is a lot of information which is packed in these mantras. So we have to open up this mantra. Each mantra has to be opened up. And then we have to see what is the Upanishad wants to teach us about the world. In this process of study, logical reasoning is extremely important. Logic by itself is a difficult topic. Normally, a common person will find Tarka Shastra slightly difficult. Shankaracharya uses logic, which is Yukti pramanam, to prove what Shruti pramanam is saying. Vedanta takes the help of three pramanams: Shruti, Yukti, Anubhava. Shruti means whatever the scripture is saying, we take that as a source of knowledge. We also take logical reasoning as another source of knowledge. And the next is, what is my own experience with reference to what is the revelation of the Shruti? With this brief background, I will go to where we stopped last week. I am going to go very slow in our teaching process because there is a lot of reasoning involved. And a number of pages have been written as notes for this reasoning. Sometimes the reasoning is repeated 2 or 3 times deliberately, because the first time when we try to reason out, it doesn't go deep inside our mind. When you hear the same thing again, you it strikes you. Where we stopped last week is the slide number 668, this particular slide. Here we are dealing with topic number 128 of Shankaracharya. I'm going to use the word topic because each of this commentary is taken up in very big detail in the notes. In this particular paragraph, what Shankaracharya is saying is, I am Turiya Atma. The same Turiya Atma is Vishwa Taijasa Prajna. The same Turiya Atma is the waker, dreamer, and sleeper. Dreamer, sleeper, and waker are the attributes of the mind or ahamkara. They do not belong to Turiya Atma. This is what we are trying to explain. What are the two sides of aham? Whenever we say I, there are two sides to this I. According to Vedanta, one side of the coin is ahamkara, the second side of the coin is sakshi or turiyam. The same turiyam, which is nirguna, which is formless, is appearing as this ego. Not one ego, billions of ego. You have an ego in your body, another person has another ego in his body. So all these human beings we are talking about, each one of them has an ego. When we study the ego in one body, say that it is the same everywhere. So we have to understand the ego or ahamkara or the mind. What is this mind and what is this ego which comes and says, I am a waker, I am a dreamer, I am a sleeper. This is one side. But the same ego has got a nirguna tattva, formless nature. We are not aware of the formless nature. Unless you come to the study of Upanishads, you will never even think that there is something called as formless I. Here, Shankaracharya is taking as Purva Pakshi, an opponent's view. The truth is, this Turiyam is the waker. But here he says, suppose, for example, this Turiyam is not the waker. Then what will happen? You will be searching for this Turiyam eternally. Number one. Where is this Turiyam? Where is this Atma? Where is this Atma? You will be searching. Because you will drop the Vishwa, you will drop the waker and say, where is this Turiyam? Where is this Atma? I have dropped my waker. Wakerhood I have been able to drop. But eternally you will be searching. Shankaracharya says, this is a problem. So such a Turiyam, which is distinct from the waker, cannot be revealed by the Veda or Upanishads because they do not fulfill the 5 conditions which are required for verbal communication. Jati, Kriya, Sambandha. We have seen these 5 conditions. So therefore, What I have to understand is this I is anadikala pravritti jivaha. It is it is eternally there. Jiva is eternally there, but I think the jiva is this body. In order to correct this mistake, the only methodology available for teaching purposes is I am this Turiya and I am appearing as this waker, dreamer, sleep. This is the essence behind this topic number 128. If you have understood this, then I can go a little bit faster. Now, self-knowledge is of two steps. First step is to claim I am the Turiya Atma. And the second step is I have to displace the wrong status in my own mind. I don't have to tell this to anybody outside. What Upanishad says, what Shankaracharya says is, in your own mind, you have to say, I am not the waker. This is called as self. So, what are the two steps? Try to learn about this Turiya Atma and claim that nature as my nature. Second step, drop the notion I am a waker with a body as my swarupa. See, waker with a body will always be there. Every morning you wake up, you'll find your body and you will have to conduct your transactions. But here you're making an inquiry about who am I? When you're doing this inquiry, you have to negate this appearance of this body and say that this is an appearance, it is not the truth. What is the truth? The pure consciousness is the truth. Vyavasayatmika means for transactional purposes, you use the word waker, dreamer, sleep. Normal transactions, you don't change your transactions. But other than this waker, dreamer, sleeper, there is a new separate mystic entity which we are calling it mistake because we are thinking that we are going to get this mystic entity in samadhi. If you do that, then what happens? You will be eternally searching and waiting for Atma to come and arrive in samadhi. Shankaracharya is trying to convert our wrong thinking. Samadhi is not required to understand Atma. It is a helping thing. It will help. It will help you to purify your mind. It will help you to get more clarity. But it is not a compulsory condition. So here he says, suppose Turiyam is a separate, fresh entity. There will be no pramanam to reveal this Turiyam because Shastra cannot use words to convey the meaning of Turiyam. Rudi, Jati, Kriya, Guna, Sambandha, Nasti. These are the 5 conditions. Rudi means universal. What is popular? These conditions of Kriya, Guna, attribute. Atma doesn't have an attribute. Atma doesn't do any action. Atma is not a species. There is no universality about Atma. Sambandha, there is no relationship of Atma with anything in the world. Adhyatmanyana nityatvam tattajnanatvadarsanam etajnananidhi proktam ajnanam yadanyom yatha. Chapter 13, a Vedantic chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna says, I will reveal to you what is this, what is your nature, which is opposed to ignorance. So there is something called an element of ignorance which we all have. That is called as Mula Avidya or Maya. It is a Shakti. So I have to remove this Maya Shakti and discover what lies beyond Maya. So this Neyam Brahma, that means the object called Brahman to be known, does not have conditions to fulfill to describe that art. Shabda Pravrti Nimitta Abhava. Then Shankaracharya says the whole Shastra will become redundant if this Turiyam is different than the Veka. Therefore, if Turiyam is different, then the obvious conclusion which many people arrive will be that Turiyam is Shunyam. The world is coming out of nothingness. That is what will happen if you don't think that the Turiyam and the Veka is the same entity. So Purva Pakshi says Brahman cannot be by words. Brahman is Shunyam. Because according to him, Turiyam cannot be described at all. Therefore, he says what? There is nothing called as Turiyam. There is only Shunyam. There is only nothingness. When you drop the waker horde and the dreamer horde and the sleeper horde, according to Purva Pakshi, there's nothing. The same nothing Shankaracharya calls it as consciousness. Same nothing Shankaracharya says it is Turiya Atma, which is an Adhisthana, which is the substratum for the entire three avasthas, panchakoshas. So, because of a mistake, Shastra can correct and reveal Turiya. That is why it is called as Bhadyam. Vaker can be negated by the knowledge of Atma. You are Atma, pure consciousness. Waking, dream, and sleep are appearances, mithya, like the rope snake. Rope snake example is very, very important in Vedanta. Because rope snakes mithya. Rope snake, there is no other equivalent example like rope snake for the ego. Because ego appears. The moment you wake up, you are attached to the body and then you start acting. So how do you remove the snake? You remove the snake by saying what you are seeing is hope. Similarly, for Atma, what you should say, you are not a waker. What you are experiencing is Atma, which is appearing as this three avasthas, which is appearing as panchakoshas. The five koshas are nothing but Sachidananda Atma, or we call it Brahman. So this is a correction. It is not a revelation. It is not a new revelation. That is what Shankara is saying in this 128th topic. So we have finished one topic. There are 7, 8 topics which Shankaracharya is going to present before coming to the actual mantra number 7. He's preparing the ground so that when we talk about the actual mantra at that time, you can easily understand. Here in this next mantra, in this next topic, here in this paragraph, what Shankaracharya is saying, this is topic number 129. In this topic, he takes the example of same rope stake, and then he says, Turiyam need not be known in samadhi, it has to be known in the waking state itself. So, by removing this error, you can understand your real nature. At the very same time, you see here, if you see this commentary, he says, at the very same time when you are hearing that this world is mithya, immediately you should say that there is a satyatma which is there as the substrate. We are using inference to as a logic to understand Atma, which is revealed by the Shruti. So the Shruti is saying that the waking state is a appearance, it is not a factual existence. Immediately then you should ask, what is the reality then? The reality is Atma. The reality is Turiya Atma. That is what he is saying in this mantra, in this paragraph. So Turiyam revelation is a self-correction. I correct myself. You see, the word that our life will continue even after getting the knowledge. Like even after knowing that the sun never rises or sets, after having that knowledge, you will still experientially you will have the experience of sunrise and sunset. Same thing is in the case of Atma. When I come to know I am the pure consciousness in which the world is absent, but I am present. That is the fact which the Shruti is saying in the seventh mantra. At the same time, your experience of your body, mind, the relationships, everything. What Shankaracharya says is only if you understand in this way, the seventh mantra will be useful for moksha. See, we are all studying this bhashya, not for academic interest. Academic interest, you can just see the meaning of the verse of seventh mantra and then say this is what the word meaning is, and then you move on to the next topic. That is academic. That's what you do when you do a MA philosophy course in a college. But here we are doing the study of a bhashyam for understanding my real nature. That is why this takes time. It's a very slow process. So here Shankaracharya says, rope is mistaken as a snake or a mala or a crack on earth. Similarly, one Turiyam is wrongly known as the waker, dreamer, sleeper. I'm talking about Turiyam so much. You should know what is Turiyam. Very simple way to understand Turiyam is when you look at your sleep state and ask the question, who am I in the sleep state? Body is not there, world is not there, mind is not there, but who am I? I am Turiya Atma. So in that Turiya Atma, what happens? You can easily say that it is an independent entity. It is not. It has got nothing to do with the world. That is what the Upanishad is trying to reveal. But I have to know the logic behind it so that my mind can hold on to that as the fact. So I am not the three bodies. I am Turiya Atma. Turiya Atma is Adhishtanam. For every mithya vastu, for every appearance, like a rope snake, like shell silver, like mirage water, you always require a substrate. Because of the substratum only, you're making an error. So Veda is only making a correction. It is not trying to reveal something new because it cannot reveal the word, because the words cannot reveal. So at the time of self-correction alone, Turiyam is known. When we study the seventh mantra, the meaning of those mantras, the word, when we understand those words, immediately my mind should go and understand the root of that meaning, which is Atma. That is why Shankaracharya is making all this preparation. So when we grasp Turiyam message clearly, correctly, Turiyam is known and I get moksha. I understand that my real nature is Nitya Mukta Swarupa. Samakaleva jnanam bhavati. That's what Shankaracharya is saying in this particular paragraph, number 129. It is a correction of a mistake, not a revelation of a new thought, not a new revelation of new entity. Nothing new will come. Only that you will say, I am not this body, I am that. That is the correction. Yeyam yat pravakshyami yajñatmamrutam anadimat param brahma nasat nasat uchyate. 13th chapter, again Vedantic chapter. Lord Krishna says, I will teach you this Turiya Atma by which you can claim you are immortal. The highest benefit of this knowledge is immortality. And it is a very big thing. Instead of saying, I am a mortal, suppose you are able to say, I am immortal Atma, I am immortal consciousness, I am immortal awareness. It's a very, very big thing. This Turiya Atma can neither be called as a being or a non-being. What is the meaning of being and non-being here? In the waking state, I am a being. In the sleep state, I am a non. But what is Turiyam? Turiyam is beyond the being nature with the body, beyond the non-being nature without the body, which is the third pada. It is Atma is different from both. Whatever we are studying in Bhagavad Gita is the same what is discussed in Mandukya. Atmani phalam cha. That means I get the benefit of this knowledge is I can say Atma is Satyam, Jagat is Mithya. Brahma Satyam, Jagat Mithya. That particular statement of Shankaracharya becomes meaningful to me once I understand the nature of Turiya Atma. The same Turiya Atma is appearing as this waker or a dreamer or a sleeper. For us, we can easily say the dream world is a fake state because it disappears. The moment I get up in the waking, the dream world gone, sleep world gone. So both sleep and the dream world, prapancha, we can say it is appearance only. But saying that the waking state is an appearance, you have to be awake to the Swarupa. Like you become awake, wake up from the dream, you have to wake up from your waker home, say, I am Turiya. When you do that, what happens? It is a removal of Jiva Bhava, understanding that Jiva Bhava of wakerhood, dreamerhood, sleeperhood is a mithya status. It appears and disappears, appears, disappears. Like example yesterday, for you, for all of us. It appeared. We did some actions. It disappeared. Again today, we do action. Again it will disappear. But in this appearance and disappearance, what is the substratum? The substratum is Turiya Atma. This is how I have to understand Mandukya Upanishad. Understanding Mithyatvam of Dvaita Prapancha. This is where the word Dvaitam is very important. In Vedanta, Dvaitam means two. Advaitam means non-dual. In sleep, for example, there is an experience of Advaita Prapancha. I don't see anything except myself. I live by my own Swarupam. So Dvaita removal is the same thing as the Veka removal. Now you can understand the meaning of Advaitam. In Vedanta, Advaitam holds a very important specific meaning, technical meaning. Advaita means I alone am there. There is no world. There is no second entity apart from Atma. For a jnani, the world is not there. Means world is mithya for him. See, there is so much of meaning conveyed in all these slides. It's a step-by-step revelation of something very, very unique called as Turiya. Turiya Parigame. What the Turiya Parigame means? There is no fresh knowledge of Turiyam, only negation of Vishwa Taijasa Prat. I don't have to sit in meditation to go to the fourth state. There is no fourth state. There is only one state in which all these three states are coming and going. This is the final truth. In consciousness, waking comes and disappears. Dream comes and disappears. Sleep comes and disappears. What is the truth? Truth is consciousness. Like the truth in the case of rope snake is the rope. Once you know the rope knowledge, you can drop the snake. Similarly, once you know Turiya Atma, you can drop your other three statuses. It is a simultaneous process of knowing Turiya Atma and negating the other three states as false or mithya. Advaitam is realized when Dvaitam is dropped as mithya. Very, very important statement. See, that is why Mandukya Upanishad requires time to study. It is not easy. You need to slowly understand the depth of knowledge which is given in Mandukya. The knowledge is Advaitam is Satyam, Dvaitam is Mithya. Next, we go to topic number 130. Now, in this topic, Shankaracharya says ignorance is the main problem. Ignorance about what? About this Turiya. That is the main problem. And then he gives an example of how a knife is used to cut a banana into two pieces. This is an example which is taken up by Shankaracharya. And then he expands on this up to the for the next 3-4 topics. It's a technical observation that an object which is there, which exists, if I don't know that object, it is called as ajnanam. Therefore, I commit a mistake. See, ajnanam by itself is not a problem. Ignorance, okay, ignorance is bliss. That's what some people say. The problem is, I mistake it as something else. Ajnanam of rope by itself is not a problem. Because I take it as a rope snake, it becomes a problem. Here, what is the problem? Ajnanam of Atma, Turiya Atma, by itself is not a problem. But I take myself as the waker. That is the problem. Waker, dreamer, sleeper. I keep on saying that I am the waker, I am the dreamer, I am the sleeper. So, in the case of a pramanam, the pramanam does not reveal an object. It need not reveal an object. It cannot reveal an object. What does the pramanam do? It only removes my ignorance. So the separation is Vishaya and Tamaha Vichhedaha. The separation is done of an object and of the ignorance which covers the object. Like a knife is used to cut the banana into two pieces. Then we get the left side and the right side. But the knife does not add an attribute to the banana. Similarly, pramanam peels off the ignorance of Atma and drops the adhyasa, drops the wrong relationship which I have with the object. That's what Shankaracharya is trying to convey. See, he is going so deep. These are all very deep in logical reasoning about Turiya Atma. So, Pramanam removes the ignorance and reveals the object. Pramanam does not add attribute to the object. What does the Pramanam do? Knownness is what is called as revelation. I come to know that object. Whatever is non-evident becomes evident. Suppose you take painting. A painting on a wall, you need to paint means it is a karma. But knowledge is not action. Knowledge is different from action. Karma indriyams are involved in the case of karma. Jnana indriyams cannot do any karma, but they can reveal. So pramanam only removes the ignorance. That is the essence of this particular session. Consciousness and common to the waker, dreamer, and sleeper. In all the three states, Atma is common. What is Atma? The awareness principle is a changeless principle. So you cannot separate that awareness and then try to understand the waker, dreamer separately. It's not possible. It's like throwing the baby along with the bathwater. You have to use the same whatever is available to us, and in your own mind you have to arrive at the non-variable consciousness in all the three states. Even in sleep you are self-aware. You are aware that you are self-aware means what? You are aware that there is nothing in the world except you. So Upanishad negates the waker, dreamer, sleeper status, WDS. I'll be using the short form, waker, dreamer, sleeper status. And then what does it retain? It removes this. That is why it says na anta prajnam, na bahish prajnam, no ubhaya prajnam. na prajnam. Consciousness with the waker hold is not pure consciousness. It is can be negated. What cannot be negated is pure consciousness. So when mind is extrovert or introvert or passive, we call that mind as the waker, dreamer, sleeper. The attribute belongs to the mind, but we are superimposing the attribute of the mind to Atma. That is why it is called as Adhyas. Atma by itself is pure, like a crystal. That is my nature. That is your nature. Who am I? I am Atma. I am pure Atma without anything in me except myself. But then what do I do? The jiva, the body has got a mind. Mind is going through some states because of prarabdha karma of the body. That I'm transferring to the pure knower sentient consciousness. This is what is called as Adhyasa Bhashyam. For those who have done Adhyasa Bhashyam with me, Shankaracharya's Bhashyam on Adhyasa, I've taken, I think, 14, 15 sessions on that. You can go through the videos of that to understand what is Adhyasa. Adhyasa means superimposition. There is no superimposition without a substrate. That is the fundamental law you should understand. So the substratum here is Turiya, which is a pure, self-evident consciousness. So that is what is transferred. The wakerhood, dreamerhood, and the sleeperhood. When I remove the extrovertedness or the introvertedness or the passiveness of the mind, I arrive at Turiya Atma. How to see this Turiyam? You can never see the Turiyam because it is not available for the sense organ. You can never know the Turiyam in any other way except through the Shabda Pramanam of Upanishads. So using the mind alone, I can claim I am Turiyam. If you drop the mind, there will be nobody to claim because the mind means it is I, the Ahamkara. So who claims ultimately I am free? It is the Ahamkara realizes that it should not be attached to the body, it should be attached to the Atma. So there is no fourth state, but it is in the same waking state. I have to make this correction. Sleep is a natural passive state where there is Advaita. Samadhi is an artificial state created by removing all the thoughts, emptying your mind. You try to reach Samadhi state. That is an artificial thing. But in both this, what happens? By analyzing my sleep state, I can arrive at Turiya Atma because that is the pure consciousness. Exactly like the crystal. The red flower is the Upadi. The crystal appears red when the flower is kept in front. Similarly, when the mind is in front and the waking state is on, that pure Atma, the consciousness, which is called as Turiyam, it is mistaken as this body and the world. Therefore, the correction is know your nature as the pure Chaitanyam and claim your Nitya Mukta status. See, there is so much of theoretical explanation which is there in this seventh mantra. So almost 100 and 150 slides are there. about this one mantra, seventh mantra. Shankaracharya makes it clear while studying this mantra itself, he wants you to realize Atma. Like crystal is transparent, Atma is transparent. It is invisible. It is pure. It is Chaitanya. It is sentient. It is not inner. I am a sentient person. I can know things. People cannot know that it is there, but I know I am there. That is the difference between table and this body. Consciousness is always Asanga Chaitanya. Asanga means what? Relationless consciousness. So in the waking state, I say na bahish prajnam. Na bahish prajnam means what? I am not consciousness which is associated with the body, mind, and the world. But who am I? I am the pure Turiyam consciousness. That is the meaning of na bahish prajnam. Now, slowly, Shankaracharya is coming to the seventh mantra. In the seventh mantra, the first word is na bahish prajnam, na anta prajnam. That is what he is trying to explain. So, consciousness minus the wakerhood. Wakerhood means minus the mind. It's only in the mind I have emotions, thoughts, and then I get the jiva bhava because of the mind. But without the mind, who am I? I'm the pure consciousness. See how beautifully Shankaracharya is trying to reveal the truth. Turiyam is ever evident. You don't have to do anything. That is always shining. There is nothing like Turiyam. There is nothing in the world because everything else perishing. Aksharam, imperishable, is only one thing, which is Turiya. So again, in summary, what Shankaracharya says is a pramanam, the Upanishadic pramanam, the seventh mantra, negates the ignorance which I have about my nature, which is called as tamaha. And then once this negation happens, I drop myself as the waker, dreamer, sleeper. These are the three hoods of the snake, which is the jiva bhava. So I drop my jiva bhava, I claim brahma bhava. In the case of that knife and the banana example, before the operation, the two parts, the left side and the right side, they were joined together, samyoga. They were connected. But after the operation of the knife, what happens? The two parts are separated. The left side is separated and right side is separated. It is only viyoga. Samyoga is destroyed and viyoga takes place. Connection is destroyed. What is the job of the knife? The job of the knife is it is a pramanam. Samyoga nivritti is the result of using that pramana. Similarly, samyoga between the Atma and the body, Upanishad tries to remove that connection, drop the connection between the Atma and the body. It is not adding any attribute. This example is only to say that you're not adding anything. You're only trying to de-link the Turiya Atma with the Ahamkara. This Ahamkara Sakshi differentiation is the most difficult aspect of the spiritual science. The moment your mind is able to do this differentiation between the ego I and the Sakshi I, you have crossed the barrier of Maya. Suppose you have a book on a table. You switch on the light, the book is revealed. You switch off the light, the book is unrevealed. Similarly, Upanishad, when you switch on the seventh mantra, Turiyam gets revealed. When you don't have that Turiyam, the seventh mantra, when it is switched off, that Turiyam is unseen, unrevealed, it is hidden. See how beautifully Shankaracharya makes a comparison between a simple book on a switch of light on and off with the knowledge of Turiya Atma and ignorance of Turiya. There is no attribute which is added. This is where the jnanam aspect. See, jnanam is opposed to ignorance. Like darkness is opposed to light. There is no karma involved. There is no action involved. It is only removal of ignorance. So what is happening is a mystery. The seedness revelation, knownness, is not an attribute. It is just a knowledge of removing the ignorance. The karma phalam, see, jnana phalam is different than karma phalam. Jnana phalam removes ignorance and it reveals the object. That is jnana phalam. Any jnana, suppose you take a sound, the knowledge of sound, the knowledge of music. What is the ear, the instrument does? It removes the ignorance of that knowledge of music. It reveals the music. Similarly, eyes. When I open my eyes, I see form and color. It removes the ignorance of that form and color. That is jnanam. Jnana phalam. What is karma phalam? Karma phalam, there are only four things which I have explained many times in other Upanishads. Aptihi, utpattihi, vikaraha, samskaraha. Aptihi means you reach a place through action. Utpatti means you produce a pot out of clay through action. Vikara means you modify something. Milk is converted to curd. Physical chemical properties, they change. That is what is called as modification. Samskara means purification. You purify gold. So these are the only four results of karma, but they are totally different than jnana phalam. When it comes to Upanishad revealing, it is jnana phalam, it is not karma phalam. Jnanam does not add an attribute to the objects after the objects are known or seen. That is the phalam for jnanam. Jnanam only removes the ignorance connected with the object. In the case of Atma, what happens? That jnanam which removes this ignorance, the ignorance with relative to Atma is called as what? Mula avidya. Mula avidya is also called as Maya. It is also called as Prakriti. It is also called as Sushupti. All these are synonyms for the same darkness which is surrounding Atma. So in the case of Atma or other jnanam, pramanam only removes ajnanam or the avarnam or the tamas. Darkness is called as tamoguna. Okay, so that is topic number 130. Next topic, 131. Till 135, Shankaracharya keeps on talking about the basis of arriving at Turiya. Here in this portion, in this paragraph, he's consolidating the message of that banana example, and he's saying that it is a question of not the adding on to anything, but it is a question of only understanding. That is what is mentioned in this particular paragraph. They are using the instrument of knowledge to peel the ignorance about Turiya Atma. See, how does a pot get known? When you use a pramanam, suppose you use a light, pot becomes known. Similarly, why in the case of pot, pot is jadam. Therefore, you need an external light. Ignorance has to go away and pot has to be revealed. But in the case of Atma, it is not like that. See, he's now, Shankaracharya is trying to say how objects are revealed and how the subject is revealed. For an object to be revealed, the process is vritti vyapti and phala vyapti. Again, this I have explained before. These are all things which are repeated again and again so that you can get to know the deeper science of Vedanta, the science of knowledge, the process of knowledge. How does it happen? How does jnanam takes place in our intellect? In the case of a pot, what happens is the consciousness has a chidabhasa. It gets reflected in the mind first. When it becomes reflected in the mind, I say I am. I become aware of my body. In the sleep state, that I am is not there. Only the chit is there, no chidabhasa. In the waking state, the chidabhasa is there. When the chidabhasa is there, it is the one which reveals the pot to the mind. The mind has got thoughts. It has got vrittis. The vrittis, they go and reveal the object, but it is a joint process. Now, Shankaracharya says, in the case of Atma, it is not a joint process because Atma, in the case of Atma, there is no phala vyapti, there is only vritti vyapti. Pramanam reveals pot through phala vyapti. Pramanam reveals the chit through vritti vyapti. That means only with the knowledge. Because why? Because Atma is self-evident. You don't require a light to become aware of Atma. Dakshinamurti Stotram Nana Chit Ghato Dadasti Tamaha Deepak Prabhavaswaram. That is the message, the fourth mantra of Dakshinamurti. Shankaracharya is explaining in this particular paragraph. How pure consciousness cannot know anything. The same consciousness, when it goes through the mind and through the sense organs, it can reveal the word. So the credit belongs to the what? Ultimate credit belongs to the chit. Chit exists, the mind wakes up, and then the sense organs reveal the world. When the sense organs reveal the world, what happens? It is specific knowledge about the world. This is called as vritti jnana. But chit, what about the chit? What about the pure turiyam, pure consciousness? Pure chit or pure consciousness is swarupa jnana. It is the nature of Atma to be aware. So the whole world is floating in the light of Chid Abhasa. whole world, the known world is floating in the Chit Abhasa, in the light of the which is in the whole world is illumined by this consciousness with the help of the mind. For example, the sun or the moon on a Paurnami day, on a full moon day, what do I say? I say the moon has got light. But then what will the informed student say? Informed student will say moon has no light. It is the light of the sun which is falling on the moon. And that I am taking it as the real light of the moon. Similarly, in the case of Ghata Jnanam, I will give the credit to what? I will give the credit to the Chit, which is the original consciousness, which is that original consciousness is self-evident. We have seen this many times in Panchadasi. We have seen this in other texts also. Atma is self-evident. It is, you don't require any medium to realize you are Atma. The only source which you need is Shruti. You have to have the Shruti to tell you that in the sleep state, I am by myself as the pure Atma. That pure Atma is unborn, Ajaha. Okay? That pure Atma is Ajaha. Ajaha means unborn. Atma is never born. It is never going to die because it is always there. That Atma is revealed in the Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, the 21st verse we are going to do in meditation today. So ignorance removal is the result of a pramana operation. Object is within the medium of consciousness. So that is what is said in the topic number 131. Now, topic number 132, these are all the technical topics of Vedanta. Whatever we have seen today is all technical topics. It requires time, it requires patience to understand these topics. That is why I'm going very slowly so that many of you are new to this type of learning. We have never done Bhashyam like this before. Especially Mandukya Bashyam is full of tarka. It is full of logic. It is full of reasoning. Shankaracharya uses logic, tremendous amount of logic. So the credit of illumination of a pot goes to the pramata, not to the pramanam. Pramata means what? The chit abhasa. The mind with consciousness is called as pramata. So pramanam does two jobs, vritti vyapti, phala vyapti. Okay. And because two things, I know the world, I become knowledgeable about this world. But in the case of Atma is an ever existing principle. It does not have three states. It need not be revealed by anyone because that is what is revealing everything else in the world. All of you might remember this mantra. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam eva vittato bhanti kutoyam agni tamevantamanubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. The sun does not shine there. The moon does not shine there. The stars do not shine there. The lightning does not touch this Atma. The fire cannot touch that Atma. But, but how do I know that Atma is there? This mantra says, Only when that Atma is shining, then only all these things, the whole world comes into light. So when I show the camphor in front of the Lord, you are supposed to chant this mantra, which says that, Lord, I cannot reveal you. This light which I'm going around 3 times in front of the photo of the Lord, you do, or in the temples, they do this arati. At the time of arati, this is the mantra which is chanted. Tameva bhantam, anubhati sarvam. You, Atma shines and the world shines. It's not the world is shining and then the world is trying to reveal Atma. It is the other way around. Turiyam is the ultimate essence of the whole creation. In Turiyam, all the three states they come and go. If I can remove this waker, dreamer, sleeper, I will be able to claim Turiyam as my real nature. So separating the Turiyam from the waker, what do I have to do? In the ahamkara, in the ego, I have to say to myself, I am not the waker, I am the Turiya Atma. I am not the dreamer, I am the Turiya Atma. This is a deliberate exercise which we have to do in order to know my real nature. There is no other alternative. Each one of us has to see when the mantra number 7 reveals Atma, you should be able to say that this is the Atma. I was searching for this Atma. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? When I understand the seventh mantra, you should at the end of it say, I know my Atma. Now, after this, I have to only hold on to that Atma as my real nature. That becomes the next project after knowing this seventh month. Pratisheda Vijnanam, it only peels off the three attributes. The three attributes are waker, dreamer, and sleeper. These are unwanted in me as ahamkara. Ahamkara is useful. No doubt it is useful for transactions, but this is not required to know I am Turiya. I myself put on a vesham, put on a covering of kartrutvam, bhoktrutvam. I put on the vesham as if I am having Sanchita karma, Agami karma, Prarabdha karma, like noodles. You can't, when you try to eat noodles, it is connected to so many other parts. So similarly, our relationships, we go on extending our relationships in the world, and then we get caught up in samsara. So, na anta prajnam, na bahish prajnam means I am not the waker, I am not the dreamer. And that is what Shankaracharya is trying to explain in all these mantras. I'm trying to say, I am not the ego, which is attached to the body and says, I am the waker. Who am I? I am Turiya Atma, self-evident. And this is what is revealed in Bhagavad Gita 13th chapter. Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarvakshetreshu bharata. The Kshetrajna is the same as Turiyatma. Uttama Purusha Svanyah, Paramatmetu Dahruta. Chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita talks about the same Turiyatma, which is revealed in the 7th month. Mantra functions as a negative pramanam in revealing Turiyam without actually revealing the Turiyam. Means what? It only negates the wakerhood in me and asks me to say, who am I without being a waker? So, what is the role of a pramanam? The role of pramanam is twofold. It removes the ignorance of the object and it reveals the object. So, seventh mantra reveals Turiyam by removing the ignorance that I am the waker, dreamer, and sleep. These three has to go. Then only you will realize I am Turiya. Okay. Every thought has got two components. Vritti component, which is a thought, and a chidabhasa, reflected consciousness. How do I know my emotions? Because of the reflected consciousness in this mind. I am aware of all my emotions. I was very angry. I I couldn't drop my anger for 1 month. Why? Because I kept on holding anger as I am angry, I am angry, I am angry. But here Upanishad says you are not angry, you are Atma. Drop that anger food from you, you are the pure Atma. So don't hold on to your anger for more than 2 minutes. Not worth it. Because you are not that. It is a condition of your mind. It went through some situation, it became angry, and then drop it. Finish. Some people hold on to that. He did this, he did this, she did this, he did this, he didn't look at me, he didn't smile at me, and all that. That is all completely wrong. It's all adhyasa. So, understanding Turiya Atma, I can lead a better quality life without samsara. Okay? Mimamsaka, they add that pramanam reveals the object by removing the ignorance. Shankaracharya says if revelation is an addition of attribute to an object, that is not acceptable because the object, which is Atma, shines by itself. So the job is only removal of ignorance, and the brightness of Atma shines uh, because that is the nature of Atma. In the case of uh, hand, you can say this is my left hand and this is my right hand. But in the case of Atma, what Shankaracharya says is there are no two sides, there are no attributes for Atma. It is only one Atma. Therefore, you don't need any action or you don't need any attribute in Atma to reveal Atma. That is what he is trying to say in this particular paragraph. It's a very long commentary. Ahamatma gudakeshah sarvabhutashayastitah ahamadishya madhyam cha bhutamanta evacha. This is a very, very important mantra of Bhagavad Gita. Aham Atma Gudakesha. The first vibhuti in the 10th chapter is this Atma. Lord Krishna says, know this Atma. This is the biggest vibhuti. This is the biggest glory of mine. Hold on to that Atma for moksha. Don't hold on to the dharmi. Don't all hold on to the dharma. Both are mithya. Mind is mithya. The quality of the mind, which is vakerhood, is also mithya. Like the blue sky is mithya. Similarly, the three states are mithya. Hold on to the pure Atma as the reality. Mithyatva Rupa Nishchaya is very, very important in the seventh. Mithyatva Nishchaya. Okay. So I will stop in this 717 slide. We will start from this particular slide next week. See, this is the type of revelation which Shankaracharya gives when you study the Bhashya. It's a direct revelation of Atma, but he uses logic. He uses step-by-step process. And these notes are very, very useful. After you listen to the talk, you read the notes, it will make more sense to you. And It's very, very useful notes. These are all very specialized information which comes out of the Bhashyams. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamadhaya Murnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Any questions from your side? There's nothing on the chat box.
I am Jayaprakash.
Yeah, Jayaprakash, tell me.
You mean to say that pranamam is only a pranamam? It cannot be. It only nothing can be evaded from the pramanam. Am I correct?
Correct. Pramanam is a source of knowledge. And Bhagavad Gita or Upanishad is a source of knowledge. Like eyes are the pramanam for knowing form and color. Ears are the pramanam for sound. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad is a pramanam revealing my nature. My nature, according to the scriptures, is I am Atma. I am not the body. I am the pure consciousness, not consciousness with the body, not consciousness with the sense organs, not consciousness with the mind. Whenever this body, mind, and sense organs are there, then the world comes into picture. Without the body, mind, sense organs, the question you have to ask is, who am I? That question's answer is given only by Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutra. I come to study this Bhagavad Gita because I want to know who am I. Normally speaking, I go about in the world as a body, born, doing vyavahara. That is at the vyavaharika level, it is the truth. But at a higher level, I am Atma. Is it clear, Jayaprakash?
Yeah, I am clear. I am clear.
Good, very good. Because this aspect of the Pramanam and why I have to come to Bhagavad Gita or Upanishad is very, very important for all the seekers. Why do I have to come to study this science from the Upanishad? There is no other place you can understand your nature. No, nowhere else. Nothing else is available except you come to the Upanishad. Upanishad study is a systematic study. Like, for example, how we are doing this Bhashyam. Very systematic. We study what Shankaracharya is saying. We analyze what he's saying. We try to say, okay, now Upanishad is telling me I am Atma. I am not able to understand that. Therefore, I use Shankara's Bhashyam. Shankara Bhashya teaches me how I should think. Upanishad clearly says, na anta prajnam, na bahish prajnam. You are not the waker, you are not the dreamer, you are not the sleeper. That is the Upanishadic mantra number 7. But how do I relate that to myself? Where do I have to draw the line? Where is that ego coming and where is that Atma? How do I separate the Atma, the Sakshi, from the ego I, the mind I? What should I know as the nature of the mind and what should I know as the nature of Atma? By knowing the nature of a mind which belongs to the Prakriti, which is matter, I try to remove this covering of Atma. And do I have to do anything to reveal this Atma? Nothing. What Upanishad, the Shankaracharya says is, just remove the covering, the Atma will shine. Because that is the nature. Aham, aham, aham. I am conscious. I am conscious. The moment your intellect is able to clearly identify this consciousness in you, that is what is called as moksha. It can happen at any time. For example, this mantra itself, while listening to the scriptures itself, Shankaracharya says, Turiya Atma means it is the same pure consciousness which is appearing as this waker with the body. See, the problem is our identification with this body is so strong. We feel that this body is really, really there. It's factual. There is nothing else apart from this body. And then we go around building all our theories around this body. Upanishad teaches us how to drop this body as a appearance. Exactly like you see in the dream. More, we have to study a lot of things now. This is just the beginning of Mandukya Upanishad. Just the beginning. We have a long way to go. As you go step by step, you will understand the depth of this knowledge. And it is a mind-boggling knowledge. And Shankaracharya is so beautiful in giving us the logic behind it. That is why you see in this what we are trying to do is we are trying to understand the scripture with the help of logic, logic which is Shastriya logic. That means it goes along with the Shastras. Okay, Jayaprakash, I think I have answered your question.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nandu, you have something?
Yeah, Hariom sir.
Tell me.
Thank you for today's disclose as always. It is like very nice. Just with the Acharya's grace, we are able to understand this. Just my understanding on this entire thing, and I think we all are aware about like a pie charts, and in that pie charts, if we divide like a three quarters, maybe
Correct.
like a waker, dreamer, and sleeper, but behind that all the pie chart is the background is from the Turiya.
Correct.
Yeah. And like there is one shloka incoming in Bhagavad Gita also, like a sutra manigana. So like that sutra,
correct.
yeah,
Yes.
sutra is we are not able to see, or if we will take example of like a mala, maybe that mala, that flowers we can see, but that behind the thread, we are not able to see. So
Correct.
that's how, yeah, that's my understanding on this.
Correct. Absolutely right. Your understanding is brilliant. See, what you are trying to say is in the pie chart, you can see the three quarters, but then behind the pie chart, that paper on which the three quarters are existing, the paper is the consciousness. That paper is the Turiya. Suppose you remove the paper, you can't have any of the pie charts. But paper is very important. Thurium consciousness is very important. Consciousness, existence. That is what is the Upanishad trying to reveal to me. We are always focused on the three quarters. Oh, this quarter is waker, this is a dreamer, this is sleeper, waker, dreamer, sleeper, waker, dreamer, sleeper. The whole life is spent only on the superficial nature of ours. Sutre Manigana Iva. That is a brilliant mantra of Bhagavad Gita. Everybody here knows that mantra by heart. Everybody will say that is a very, very useful mantra. That sutram we are talking about is Turiya. Same thing Lord Krishna teaches. Without that thread, you cannot have the beads. You cannot have a mala. You can't have a garland of flowers without the thread. Flowers, they become precious, they bloom. We are able to enjoy the waking, dream, and sleep state only because of the thread which goes around. That common thread, if you are able to accept it, that is the final truth. The same truth is explained in Dakshinamurti verse number 1. Very, very beautiful mantra for meditation. As soon as you get up in the morning, if you understand that mantra, I will explain to you that mantra because you talked about Shruti Maniganayava. Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nijantargatam. What is this mantra, Dakshinamurti? Go back to that mantra. I have taken Dakshinamurti Stotram in my talks. You can find that Dakshinamurti talks in my class folder. See, I am in this mantra, the Shankaracharya writes this is a self-realization mantra. As soon as you get up in the morning, what should you be your thought process? I am that consciousness. That is the truth. That is the fact. That is what I was in my sleep state. The waking state is nijantargatam. It is inside. It is inside what? It is inside consciousness. Dream is inside the waker consciousness. Waker is inside the Turiya consciousness. But how do I see this difference? Everything is outside. I see the world outside. With reference to the body, I say the world is outside. That is because it is of Maya Shakti. There is a Maya Shakti which instead of showing me that it is inside, it is trying to show me it is external to me. With reference to the waker, the world is outside. With reference to the waking world. Now, with reference to the dream, what happens? From the waker's angle, the dream is inside. For the dreamer, the waking world is outside. Same thing happens in the case of waking also. Who am I? Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari. The whole world is an appearance where in consciousness, in the mirror of consciousness. That mirror is nothing but my mind. It is appearing as though it is outside, but actually it is inside. This is the Maya Shakti, which actually is inside. It is showing me as if the whole world, Jagat, is outside. Cosmos, the whole planetary system, the entire galaxies. Everything is actually what it is inside my mind. And the mind is inside the consciousness. If you can remember this one truth, Turiya Atma is a fact, consciousness is the fact, it is that sutram which holds the whole cosmos together. Very good example you have given, Nandu. Thank you. Am I clear?
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Very much. Thank
Good.
you.
Shama, go ahead. Yeah, Shama, can you speak? You can unmute yourself.
Okay. Can you hear me now, Hariom Shekhar ji?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So today you've given this very valuable kind of example of the, banana, the cleavage which you can cut. So which I am taking home that for us it is between the ego I and the Sakshi I. Is that correct?
Perfect. Yes.
And we use the Yukti, Shruti, and the Anubhava as the pramanam.
Yes.
In the light of my experience, in the light of logic, reason, and whatever. So we're not isolating just one thing, but all the three we can use together to actually have this very powerful weapon to try and cut this out, because this is the major problem, isn't it? that
Yes.
we may read everything, we may even intellectually understand, but how well can we absorb it and assimilate it within our system, which is a tough business. Yeah. So in reference to this question about you've said ego I is the tama in your slide, it very nicely written, tama,
Correct.
and
Yes.
tamaha and turiya.
Yes.
So in other words, most of the time when we are awake, it is very seldom that we are actually truly awake in our Turiya Atma, isn't it?
Absolutely right. Shankaracharya says in Prashna Upanishad, he says very clearly, Vritti
Uh-huh.
Jnanam is our whole waking state. It is not
Generally.
Swarupa Jnanam. It is Vritti Jnanam. The whole waking state is Vritti, thought.
Thought.
Same
And it just
happens in
is
the Swapna also. Swapna is also Vritti Jnanam only.
absolutely, absolutely. And it's quite tragic actually. It's quite tragic because the how the cloud envelops the sun, which the sun itself has generated. And so it's almost a similar thing happening here, that I myself have created all of this darkness within my mind, which is from the vritti jnanam, as you've just explained.
Correct. See, that is
So,
why we say waking state and the dream state is Ajnanam, Tamas.
but we can
Waking
make it.
state is Ajnanam, and the third state, which is the sleep state, is the Mula Vidya. So
Yeah.
Mula Vidya, ignorance, is the cause. That is the third pada, which is the sleep state. And the waking state and the dream state is a product of avidya. So the whole, in our entire waking state, it's a product of avidya only. It is a product of ignorance only. So you will never get knowledge in your waking and dream state about your Atma unless you
So,
come and wake up to the Upanishadic knowledge.
so in true this thing, reality, we are more asleep in our wake state than perhaps sleep itself, because we don't try and remember. So the practice point which I'm taking it is that practicing it often enough, through our waking hours, negating the Dvaitam and negating the Dvaitam as mithya and actually embracing the Advaitam or the Turiya Atma state. That would be a good practice.
It's such a beautiful way you're expressing it. I'm so happy because now the knowledge seems to be seeping into your intellect. Very good.
Because I want to absorb it, no? So
Very
that's
good.
why I'll.
This
So,
language now you're using is a perfect language for realization of art. This is the
so
language.
if so when I sleep and if I try and look at my whole day, just a quick replay, for me to remember how often did I was in my even recognition of Turiya Atman, this would be good enough for me for now. So that would be wonderful because it will keep me in it's almost like a mental socham,
Yeah.
that creating that very pure mind state or the sattva state. Unless that happens, there is hardly any chance of some enlightenment. So that's just my reflections from there. I just had a question about, you have mentioned very nicely about the jnana phalam and the karma phalam. Yeah. And karma phalam, you said atpatti, utpatti, vikara, and
Is
the
reaching.
samskara. And
Yeah.
samskara. So the
Samskara.
question I have is about samskara. And I just wanted to ask, that like, for example, samskaras, which can be like a negative emotion, So if we are totally, too deeply spiritually inclined, we might negate the experience, where actually it can be an instructive experience. For example, the moment the anger comes, I'm aware of it. I quickly analyze, why did this happen? And to sort of make a corrective measure. So in other words, what I'm pleading is that it's not altogether useless to have this samskaras, even if it's a negative samskara or an experience. So it's
Correct.
good to be aware of it, isn't it? It's good to be
Yeah, it's
aware of
okay.
it.
Correct. But the mind is Sakshi Pratyaksham. You see, the mind is Sakshi
Mm,
Pratyaksham. So you actually
mm.
Sakshi is seeing your mind.
Okay, okay. And in that respect, you are protected
Yes.
because you are seeing it in the light of the Sakshi.
Yes.
Yes. So this is beautiful
Therefore,
because,
you are able to purify your mind.
yeah,
Samskaras can be purified because it is Sakshi Pratyaksham. So the more you observe your own mind, the more you are purifying your mind. It's like, polishing that silver again and again,
yeah,
again and again, so that all the old dirt comes out and then the silver shines by itself. So
yeah.
similarly, when you polish your mind, what happens? Atma will shine by itself.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, recently it has happened that I was in a distressing state and I was very angry and whatever, which I normally don't. So I was just sinking down into the bottom of the well until suddenly this Sakshi Jnanam, which really rescued me. And I
Yeah.
said, no, there must be a message here, because
Right.
I'm quite foolish without Viveka to know what to do, what not to do. I'm not very, like you must think before you leap. I leap before and think afterwards, so I'm the reverse.
That's 99% of the people, including all of us. We are in the same boat.
So, yes, but this Atma Jnanam is just so beautiful a thing. And today morning also I got up that if only, my prayer only is, if okay, only I can constantly walk in thine light, of the Atma Jnanam. It's just wonderful, isn't it? That's my practice.
Happen. It will happen. It's a question of time. It's just a question of just being in the path. That's all. It just happens. It's a
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
gradual process. How does a flower blossom? The bud becomes a flower in the morning. You have to give it time to bloom. Just you have to
Yeah,
give
no, this is
your mind to bloom and say that this is that is that you see, that is why the spiritual science is not a revolution, but it's an evolution.
uh-huh.
It will-
Yeah,
it
that's
takes
nice.
time. Takes
Yeah.
time.
No, thank you so much,
Thank you.
Shekharji.
Thank
You're
you.
very patient and understanding. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, Ramesh, I'll come back to you. Vijaya, you have a question?
Hari Om Shekharji, yes, I
Yeah.
have a question. Thank you very much. Definitively a wonderful session, and many of the knots around my understanding has actually got released today. One question is somewhere during the lecture, we were there was a mention about this jnana which we are receiving through my mind, that is the prameyam. It is only for the avarana nivritti, right?
Yeah. Correct.
That's right,
It is
avarana
only
nivritti.
for our minority. It is only remove the ignorance of the
Ignorance.
world. But when it comes to the Swarupa Jnanam, you have to use the Shastra.
Perfect. So now I was trying to link it with, okay, so my experiences with the world, that is where I am now. For example, the standpoint of the Vyavaharika Satyam. So in
Yes.
the Vyavaharika, when I deal with the world, my experiences sometimes are good and sometimes are bad. So how do I deal with these experiences? I think is because I understand that I am not yet ready to own my Swarupa Jnana. I have identified with my mind, and hence this Badakatvam is coming to me. So
Correct.
now I am coming to the Shastra Jnana, and then I am having the Shraddha towards the Shastra, and then I'm listening to it. So through the Shravana, my knowledge is sinking in, and that's when the Avarana, that is at least the covering is removed, right?
Yes.
But
That is the
now
process.
correct. Now I wanted to link the we have this steps, 7 steps of spiritual seeker as explained in the Panchadashi, where in the last he says first comes the dukkha nivritti, then sukha prapti. That's what Vidyaranyaji says.
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, if I'm trying to draw parallel here, now though the avarana has uncovered what is not real, but my mind is, because I am still living with, see, the Triputi is not dissolved in me. I am still
Yeah.
there with the Triputi. So my Vikshepa is still very heavily playing on me. So every time the thought comes, then I have to again, I don't have to listen to, I mean, I don't have to have the knowledge because the avarana is removed, but the whole dealing of my life is the Vikshepa. The cause of the worry is the Vikshepa, more of Vikshepa. Because if I don't know that, if I know that it is snake and not knowing it is rope is not as a pain than me superimposing the snake on the rope, and hence the worry is not because the rope is not known. Worry is, or the anxiety is, or the pain is because I've superimposed something which is more fearful. That means that is where my question is. So avarana alone, how does it deal with, how do I deal after having worked with my avarana? How do one deal with the vikshepa? Because that is what actually causes the experiences to us.
Okay, good question. See, the Vikshepa Shakti is of the mind, and you cannot stop it. Even till the death of the body, your Vikshepa will continue. The only thing which you can say is this Vikshepa is mithya. That is the only thing which you have to remember again and again. This Vikshepa, I can never stop it because it is Prakriti. It is a cause of it is three gunas. Rajas, tamas, this is nothing but rajas. So Prakriti is Prakriti. That is the nature of Prakriti. It will produce the Vikshepa. For a jnani, what happens? He is aware of that Vikshepa as mithya. Ajnani is aware of that Vikshepa as satyam. That is the problem. All of us, we suffer because we think that Vikshepa is satyam, satyam. Yesterday I was so angry. I was so passionate about something, and all this is satyam for me. That is the satyam and mithya is where the problem lies. It is not the Vikshepa Shakti, which is a Prakriti, which is a Guna, which nobody can stop. Even a jnani cannot stop the Vikshepa Shakti. His mind will have Vikshepa Shakti. But he will be alert, all the time alert, and say, I am the Atma, I am the Atma, I am the pure Chaitanyam. He has made his mind more sattvic. Therefore, the Vikshepa doesn't affect you so much. Only after some time, you can say that Vikshepa is Mithya. Not immediately. You see, it takes time. That is why this spiritual science is, it takes time till your mind is convinced that all the projections which I am making in my mind throughout the waking state is out of ignorance about the pure self. Like I said, the cause is ignorance, the product is ignorance. Everything about the waking state is ignorance. Because the cause is ignorance. Cause is Mula Vidya. So the only way is keep studying the Upanishad, understand the Turiya Atma more and more. A time will come when your mind itself will be having that power. That the Shravanam will generate that extra Shakti in your mind to accept the Vikshepa Shakti as Mithya. But that comes only with repeated Shravanam. You have to understand clarity. Again and again, get clarity, clarity, clarity. The more you get clarity, the more you are able to go deeper into the substratum. Looking at the ocean, the depth of the ocean. Once you are able to look at the depth of the ocean, which is Turiya Atma, then whatever happens in the surface of the water, the ripples and the foam and everything which comes you are not affected. Why? Because you know the depth of the ocean. You know the depth of the mind. Then you will see the ripples of the thoughts which come and go. Will not make any difference to you. Okay? Is it clear, Vijay?
Yes, Shekharji. So I was just reflecting when you are talking about this verse, which I chanted the latest in the Kathopanishad, Uttishta Jagrata Prapya Varanni Bodhataha.
Yes.
Kshirasya dhara nishitaha duratyaya durga. So this is what I think it leads me to your answer.
Right.
Thank you
This
very,
is
very much.
Uttishta. Uttishtada means to rise up to the knowledge of Turiya Atma.
Yeah.
To the rise up to the knowledge of the seventh mantra of Mandukya Upanishad. Wait till you complete the seventh mantra. There is so much of information you still have to gain. You have just started listening to this commentary of Shankaracharya, but just wait for all this seventh mantra to sink into you. The moment the seventh mantra sinks into you, that is self-realization. That is, after that, you're just trying to, polish your mind more and more. But the seventh mantra is the realization mantra. It is the best mantra in the entire Upanishadic literature. It's a direct revelation of your own self. And the two bhashyams, that is Gaudapadacharya's bhashyam and Shankaracharya's bhashyam in the form of karikas, they are amazing. It's really amazing. Good. Your very, very deep analysis, Vijay. Good. Thank you.
Thank you, Kanav.
Ramesh, yeah, can you?
Yeah. Hari Om Shekharji.
Ah,
There is one mention that you said about na Surya Bhati, na Chandra Tarakam, which means the Atma illuminates itself. That is what was there. I think that is
yes.
similar to Bhagavad Gita, where it says, Na tadva sayate surya, na shashanko na pavakaha, yadgatva na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. My abode is that which shines without sun, stars, etc., Agni. And whoever goes there doesn't come back.
Correct.
So that is liberation, probably.
Yes.
It's already in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. I can't remember the verse number, but it's in the 15th chapter, if I'm correct.
Yes.
So just wanted to bring that parallel out here.
Yes. There is one more mantra which is equivalent to this mantra, Natatra Suryo Bhati. That mantra is Jyotisham api Jyotihi.
Oh,
There is one more mantra that is more equivalent, Jyotisham api Jyotihi tamasa paramuchyate. That particular mantra, you try to see that also. It gives you the same meaning. But this mantra is very, very important for all the seekers. The moment you chant this and close your eyes and just chant and say that you shine first. That means Atma Turiyam shines first. It is the absolute I. And that absolute I has no death. Never dies. That is why it is called Nityaha. There is only one Nitya Vastu, and that is Atma. And this mantra, the meaning of the mantra is that light of Atma, nothing in the world can light that up. Because everything else is an external material light. Atma's light is the spiritual light. The spiritual light is far more brilliant and far more important than all the material lights. The reason is without the spiritual light, there is no material light. All the material light, they exist. They are born out of this spiritual light. They exist in that spiritual light, and then they resolve into that spiritual light. Yeah, somebody has pointed out, Vijay is saying, Jyotisham Jyotihi
tamasa paramuchyate jnanam neyam
Riddhi
hridi
Sarvasya
sarvasya vishchitam.
13th chapter, 18th verse. Thank
18th
you,
verse,
Vijay.
yes.
Jyotisham Abhi Jyotihi. That means it is the light of all the lights. The same thing, light of all the lights means what? Light of all the material lights, the spiritual light of Atma. I am that Atma. Only when that shines, everything else in the world shines. In that spiritual light, Atma, there is another feature which is not understood. That is, I also know the absence of the world. You see, in the normal material world, I will know only that the light is shining and the objects are revealed. But in the spiritual light, what happens is when I am asleep, I am also aware that all this material world, which was shining in the waking state, they all are in resolved condition, and that is the light of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says this feature about Atma, Turiya Atma. It says that this Turiya Atma can reveal the absence of the whole cosmos, which is unmanifest condition. Okay, so very good, Ramesh. You keep meditating. Nandu says that this mantra comes also in Mandukya Upanishad 1 to 11. Chapter 1, the second section, 11th mantra. Same mantra comes. Natatra Suryo Bhati. It also comes in Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Mandukya Upanishad, Kathopanishad, Shvetashvatara Upanishad, the same mantra comes in. That is why this mantra is very powerful. Keep it always in your notebook and say, I reflect on it again and again. See, these are the ways in which we all find our real nature. We all land ourselves into our own pure nature. Thank you, Ramesh. Thank you for pointing it out. Good. Anything else?
No, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll continue. So we are finished with your question, right? Okay. So we'll see next week, and we'll continue our study of Mandukya Upanishad. It's a very, very beautiful way of studying Upanishads. Very, very beautiful way, because we are going into the mind of Shankaracharya. See, Shankaracharya is explaining this to his disciples. What we are learning is, how did Shankaracharya explain to his disciples about this Mandukya Upanishad? So it's a very, very divine study. And as you study this Upanishad, you will really fall in love with this Upanishad. You will never forget it, because you are studying in such a great depth. You will reach your pure self and say, this is it. That's it. I don't need anything else. That is what I want each one of you to realize. This study is so beautiful and it's very rewarding. Thank you and namaste.
Thank you, sir.
Hari Om,
Namaste.
Hari
Thank
Om.
you. Namaste.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om,
Hari
thank you, Shakaji.
Hari Om. Bharat, how are you?
I'm very well. Fantastic lecture. Absolutely
Oh.
fantastic.
Yeah, it's
You,
so many linkages are there.
honestly, Shakaji, I don't know how you do it. It's a stunning, stunning job. Like I'm going through everything. I'm picking up new insights, and I come to these classes because I get even more insights. Looking at things in different ways. It's just amazing. I'm just speechless.
That's correct. You see, this is
Really,
what
really
happens when you do Shankaracharya Bashyam.
It's like you think you understand it,
Yes.
and then there's a shift, and he's continually hammering just one point. That knowledge destroys ignorance. It's all about the removal of ignorance. That
That's correct.
that
Yes. And
you
that
are
ignorance, nothing is, but it's only Maya Shakti.
so
It is
only
only that
Mahashakti.
it's only a power which is, the more you understand that power in you to,
Yes.
which can cover your nature. See,
Yeah.
the study helps you to open up a little bit, Again, have a peep into that Turiya Atma. Again, have a peep into the Turiya Atma. And the more you get these small, small peeps into the Turiya Atma, that entire Maya comes under your control. You say, okay, fine, Maya Shakti will keep going on. It will be deluding, but I am still can hold on to art. See?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's really amazing in, Vedic philosophy, Vedic study. In contrast to Western epistemology, in Western science, you gain knowledge. You go to the world, you gain knowledge. Whereas in Vedic philosophy and in the Upanishads, it's like it's actually much more compassionate. Everything is already there. You already are. It's just a matter of uncovering the ignorance. So in Western science, you're gaining, 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 gaining. When do you ever stop? Who
Yeah.
knows? Whereas in Upanishads, you are already that. You just didn't realize it.
It's complete opposite between
Completely
material
opposite.
science and spiritual science.
Complete 180 degree. But
Yes.
it's brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bharat. Thank you.